Hello everyone, welcome back. This is part 2 of the Stop Trying to Change Your Thoughts series. In the last video, we talked about why it's not always necessary to directly change your thoughts, no matter what you're doing, using the law of attraction, healing from depression, or just living your day-to-day life. Thoughts are just one of those things that happen, whether we like them or not. But once you have a negative thought, it often leads into a spiral of beating yourself up for having negative thoughts. And that just doesn't work. So like I said in the last video, and if you haven't seen it, I'll leave a link to it up here, so be sure to check that out. But like I said in the last video, I have always had negative thinking, and I'm pretty sure that I always will. And that's why I'm making this series of videos, so we can all put our minds at ease. Stop trying to fix our thoughts and instead go about life in a much happier and more productive way. So this series of videos is about raising your vibes without changing your thoughts. It's all the ways that I have found to bypass the issue of negative thinking that I just can't seem to get control of by doing things that I can control. So this series of videos is about how you can raise your vibes, heal, follow your life's path, manifest with the law of attraction, and co-create your life even when those negative thoughts keep popping up. The last video was about shifting the energy around you and within you. And this video is about manipulating, adapting, adjusting, and using the physical world to raise the vibrations around you, make you feel good, and bring positive, uplifting, good experiences into your life. And ultimately, change those thoughts. Because when the world around you feels good, so do you. And those negative thoughts either dwindle away, lose their foothold, or at the very least have much less power over you. So let's get started. Hi, I'm Sarahdawn, and I am so happy that you are here today because I want to help you live your fullest and most authentic life, especially if you have depression, anxiety, any kind of mental illness or self-esteem issue that is taking you away from your purpose. I am writing books, creating a blog, and these videos to help earth angels and light workers tap into the law of attraction, angels, and your spiritual calling so you can experience the life that you are meant to have as a divine being. If you're interested in videos like this, be sure to subscribe, and if you want to be notified of future videos, make sure you hit that little bell button too. Thoughts are just physical. They're a part of the physical world, part of your physical body. They're your brain's way of trying to predict what's going to happen and trying to make sense of the world. So although they're powerful sources of energy that can help you or hurt you, not all thoughts are equal. Most of those pesky negative thoughts that pop up are just nonsense filler kind of stuff that the physical brain is basically trying out. Sort of like, all right, here's an idea. Let's throw this idea out there and we'll see what sticks. So these thoughts, they only get power if we choose to give them power. So the first thing that we're going to do to bypass these negative thoughts before they get power over us and lower our vibes is to switch roles. We're going to switch roles with the brain. So instead of our brain just throwing out random thoughts, we're going to manipulate the signals that are coming into the brain, the signals that the brain takes in to determine which of those thoughts and what part of those thoughts that we're having is the part that's sticking, the part that we're going to stick with. So I like to call these brain hacks because instead of letting the brain run wild and have all the control, we're jumping into the driver's seat and telling the brain what is going on. These brain hacks are not just changing your brain. day and everything that we're going to talk about today will help shift the energy or chi that is running through your body. But more on that later. And these brain hacks are super easy to do. The brain is just another organ after all. It's pretty easy to manipulate if we just use our knowledge and intention to do so. Okay, so the first brain hack is to basically act out what you want to be feeling. Physically make your body do what it would do if you were feeling what you wanted it to feel. So one of my favorite hacks, and I learned this in my high school psychology class, and I will always remember it because I find it so fascinating. But it's actually take a pen and put it between your teeth, and it forces you to smile whether you're happy or not. Like that. See? So I'm smiling. And the reason this works and hacks like this work is because your brain is taking cues from your body. You're making the motion of a smile. Your brain interprets that as, oh, I'm smiling. There must be something to be happy about. So making your body physically do what it would do when you have the emotion you want is going to make your brain interpret that physical motion as being that emotion. The reason you're smiling must be because you're happy. And then it'll produce the chemicals and respond in a way that makes you happy. So it helps raise your vibes and change the way you feel and vicariously the way that you are thinking. And the next brain hack is to visualize. So they've done studies and they've hooked people up to electrodes and looked at their brains and how it lights up, and they found that when you imagine or visualize something, the same areas of your brain light up as do when you're actually seeing that object. So they hooked people up and they said, imagine a puppy. And the people imagined a puppy. And in the other room, they showed the person an actual puppy, a different person, an actual puppy. And they saw that both people's brains, whether it was visualized or actually seeing the puppy, the same parts of their brain lit up. So you can visualize having what you want, feeling what you want, things going the way that you want, and your brain will light up and respond as if all of that is actually happening. It's a very easy brain hack, and it works. And the next brain hack is say affirmations. So I know it sounds like what everyone says, about changing your thoughts and stop the negative thoughts and say something positive. But affirmations are just a little bit different. They're not about combating negative thoughts with a positive one. They're not. That's not what they are. They're not new thoughts at all, and they're not thoughts that you're trying to force upon yourself. Affirmations are just statements of things that you want. It's just saying things are the way that you want them to be. And you always say affirmations in the positive as if they've already happened. So affirmations are and have always been one of my favorite ways to change or raise my vibes, because I don't have to believe them. I can just, whatever I want, put it into a statement, a positive statement, and just say it over and over again until it just basically starts to stick or something happens. So they're a brain hack. Affirmations are a brain hack because your brain is not concerned with evaluating your thoughts. That's why, some thoughts stick and some thoughts don't, depending on what you are giving power to and what you're putting your focus on. So all the brain hears is what you're saying. So say you use the affirmation, I am worthwhile, and I am in the process of accomplishing all of my goals. Now, maybe you're not. Maybe right now you feel like a complete failure and you don't know what you're doing with your life. Maybe you just lost your job, or maybe you're about to have a birthday and you don't feel like you're where you're supposed to be in life. But the affirmation is what you want to feel I am worthy and I am in the process of accomplishing all my dreams and goals. So but the brain is not going to be like, okay, this isn't true. Why is she saying this? This isn't true. What the brain is doing is just hearing what you're saying. And so the more you say it, the more the brain is going to create a new neural pathway. And eventually the brain is going to adapt as if what you're saying is true. And once that happens, the law of attraction sends it into overdrive and you get it. Either self-fulfilling prophecy starts to happen and you start acting according to what you believe and according to these positive thoughts, or law of attraction is going to send it to you because your vibes are high and that's the intention that you're putting out. Another brain hack is to make sure that you're doing things that you love and things that make you happy. So get out there and do what you love to do. Maybe you love to take a bubble bath by candlelight, or maybe you love going hiking, playing with your kids, going to a baseball game. Do things that you love and make sure you're doing them as often as possible. Because, well, obviously doing these things make you feel good. And if you're doing things that make you feel good, the brain responds accordingly. So that one's pretty obvious. But it works. Get out there and do your favorite things. So the last brain hack that we have is be around happy people. And this brain hack is really easy and effective to do because it taps into our mirror neurons. So our mirror neurons are just right here, located right at the front of our brain. And the mirror neurons are responsible for the reason that we can read body language and understand people non-verbally what's going on, because the mirror neurons are part of our empathy to see people and see all the nonverbal, and we take that in and feel it ourselves in order to communicate and understand with other humans. We do this while watching movies, while communicating, anytime we're around other people. The mirror neurons are also why, if somebody else yawns and then you have the urge to yawn, that's because the mirror neurons saw them yawn. Oh, they're yawning. I must need a yawn. Or if somebody takes a drink and then you all of a sudden feel thirsty, like you want to take a drink of something too. That is your mirror neurons at work. So if you are around happy people who are acting happy, look happy, they're behaving like happy people behave, your mirror neurons are going to pick up on that and they're going to reflect that back. Because if the people around you are happy, then you're supposed to be happy too. It's a social part of our being human. It's why we're social creatures, is why we have this part of our brain. But it is very easy to tap into and very effective. But that also means that, especially when you're not feeling at your best, if there are toxic or negative people in your life, you need to cut them out, because they will do the same thing. If they're negative, bringing you down, always have something bad or something difficult, always in a crisis, those types of situations or those types of people, your mirror neurons pick up on that too. So another thing you can do to manipulate the physical world and raise your vibes is to use water and salt. So simply take a shower. Water just washes a lot of stuff away. Water is a very powerful element that we have at our disposal that is so easy to use. So you can just take a shower and visualize washing away any negative energy, any negative experiences, and just let that water wash it right off of you. It's a very effective technique that might be more powerful than it sounds initially. And salt is something that you can easily use to purify and cleanse your physical environment or your physical body. So you could take a bath in salt water, and that will help clear the physical negative vibes and energy that's running through your body. And that is regular table salt, not Epsom salt. So Just the regular table salt that you buy at the store for cooking with is what I'm talking about. So another thing you can do with salt and water is get a spray bottle like this, and just fill it up with water and put like a teaspoon up to a tablespoon, probably in a bottle that's this size. Put it in there, shake it up, and then spray it on your surroundings. Especially, this is something that I really like to do if something bad happened or something negative happened. Like if I got upset with one of my kids in that area of where we were sitting, where we were at, just kind of clear out that energy on those physical spaces so that it's not there when I go back to pick up on. And of course, always taking a shower and using the water to wash that negative experience off is helpful as well. So the next thing you want to do in the physical environment to help raise your vibes is go outside. Our connection to nature is very healing and uplifting, and just simply going outside can raise your mood, raise your emotions, and raise your vibes. And if you can't get outside, studies have shown that looking at a picture of nature is also effective. Maybe not as effective, because I know my personal experience being surrounded by nature has a certain feel for me. But if you can't get out, or it's the middle of the night or whatever, you can look at a picture. Once again, it's that visualizing we talked about with the brain hack, so it does still work. And another thing that always works to help raise your vibes by using your physical body is to move it. Everybody knows this. Movement, exercise, getting out, taking a walk. I mean, this is what you hear from everybody, right? Move your body. But it is important because it releases feel-good chemicals. It gets rid of toxic stress chemicals that can cause illness and emotional problems and create blocks in our energy. And, one thing I do, if I don't want to go for a walk and I don't want to exercise, I just dance. Put on the music that you love, music that makes you feel good, and just dance along to it. That is getting your body moving, and it's also doing something fun and moving your body in a way that you would if you're happy. So you're actually tapping into a couple brain hacks there at the same time. And the next thing we have for using the physical world or your physical body to change the energy within you is pressure points. It's acupressure. This acupressure is pushing on certain energy points to release feel-good chemicals and get the blood flowing. In Chinese medicine theory, emotions and mental functions are viewed as components of qi and blood. Like I said before, qi is the energy that runs through our body. And then you know what blood is. But the qi is in our blood. So it runs through everything basically the same way. So what acupressure does is corrects the movement of qi and blood in the meridians to bring balance back to the mind, body, and spirit. So acupressure can help redistribute this energy through the meridians so you can ground yourself and feel better again. So when you do acupressure, spend 30 seconds, about 30 seconds on each point with firm pressure. You want firm pressure so you're feeling it, but it shouldn't hurt. If it's a really sore muscle, you might feel, some pressure, but not pain. You shouldn't feel pain, just that pressure. And as you apply that pressure, take nice deep breaths that go all the way down into your abdomen. So there's many points that can help lift the mood. But here's a few just to start out with right away. And I highly recommend just a Google search. Just pop it in Google and do a research, and there'll be all kinds of sources of different pressure points. But some of the best ones are the top of your head right here. This is called the governing vessel 20. It's just right on the top of your head. Just relax into it. Enough pressure that you're feeling it, but not enough to hurt. Now another one we have is right on the back of your head. It's going to be you'll feel that bone right on the back of your head, underneath that. And you can generally easily find pressure points because move your fingers down until you find like a dip. So you move your fingers down from that bone in the back of your head down to where you'll feel a dip. That's another one. That is a governing vessel 17. Now, you can also do both of these pressure points at the same time. Really good for stress and improving focus. Whew. And another pressure point that's great for releasing stress and lifting the mood is the forehead right here. This is the yin tang, just right here. Do not go down to the bridge of your nose and push on that. That's not a good place. It's right here between your eyebrows, your third eye area. Remember taking deep breaths in for about 30 seconds. And another one is called the heart, and it is right here, the pinky side, right there. And like I said, with pressure points, you just kind of can feel where there's a little dip right there. Push that. Every time I do this one, my pinky feels a little bit numb and tingly. And then the last one is actually, I'm not going to show you because I don't want to show my feet on YouTube, but it is between your big toe and your second toe, about, just maybe half an inch down between those two toes. You'll feel it. Like I said, those pressure points are easy to feel. And the last thing that is really great for using your physical body to raise your vibes and lift your mood and make you feel better is EFT tapping. EFT tapping is an emotional freedom technique. And it is also, it's basically a form of acupressure. It's also taps on the meridians or areas of the body where energy flows, and it works very much in the same way. But instead of just applying pressure to the points, you're going to be tapping the points. And it's overall just effective for balancing energy and helping with physical and emotional issues, even pain, trauma, depression, anxiety, stress, removing blocks and imbalances in the flow of energy in your body. So some warnings about EFT before we get started. You need to make sure that you're in tune with yourself and understand what you're doing, because EFT is a very powerful technique and to help with a lot of emotional and mood issues. But it's also very powerful, and it's meant to be used with a therapist guiding you and making sure that what comes up through these sessions you're able to handle. So if you have PTSD or trauma, be very careful before you try implementing this, and really you should probably check in with your therapist first to make sure. And that's really true, honestly, with any kind of meditation. Going into deep trance-like states and deeply relaxed states, those traumatic events and memories can come on very strongly and be very overwhelming. So always, please be careful with stuff like that if you have trauma. But if you want to use this just to raise your mood, to help you remove blocks that you have or release the past, that's what this is really good for, is coming up with these issues and problems that we have and being able to release them. And it's really a pleasant experience anyway. It helps a lot with a lot of things. So here is how it's done. The first step is to think about the issue. So identify the feeling or the situation and try to focus on one problem at a time. Don't be like overall trying to fix all the problems in your life. You can do this as many times as you want to for as long as you need to. So there's no rush. Pick one specific problem at a time and think about that. And process it and really kind of think it through. What are these feelings? Why are you having them? And then on a scale of 1 to 10, you want to rate how intense the problem is. And this is just so you can kind of keep track of how well the technique is working and how long you should keep doing it for. So as you're thinking about the issue and processing it, you want to do this is called the karate chop motion. I hope it's not moving the camera too much. But just like a karate chop, you're just tapping. I do it like this, but you can, do it with your fingers. Generally, most of these points are done with 2 fingers. But think about the problem, process it, think about what's going on. Really understanding it and where you're at with it. And what you're going to do as you're doing this karate chop is come up with a statement that first it validates your feelings, and then it's followed up with a phrase of acceptance. Use those affirmations we talked about earlier. Identify and accept the feeling, and then affirm yourself. What do you want? Stay and process what you need, then come up with a shortened version, because you're going to repeat it as we go through the next phases. So come up with a shortened version. So for example, it might be, even though I feel like a failure right now, my hard work is paying off, and soon I will see the results. So this affirmation, it's not going to change your thoughts, but it's validating your very real and your very significant emotions. And the positive statement that's followed up by it is neutralizing the negativity of it. So it's not getting rid of the negative thought, but it's kind of neutralizing its power. Engages your rationality rather than allowing overwhelming emotions to take over. So, and then as an added bonus, as you relax and tap into those meridian points, your brain is more apt to accept the positive. So it's more apt to accept any positive statements that you say. So once you've come up with your statement and processed everything, now we go through the tapping points. First, it's the top of your head once again, like about 2 fingers. And each one you'll tap about 5 times. And you just keep repeating your statement. So even though I feel like a failure, I know my hard work is paying off. And soon I will see the results. The next spot, right inside your eyebrow. Now, some of these spots have 2 sides. You can do both sides if you want, but you only have to do one. Even though I feel like a failure, I know my hard work is paying off, and soon I will see the results. And then under the eye, even though I feel like a failure, I know my hard work is paying off, and soon I will see the results. Next is right here, under your nose. Even though I feel like a failure, I know my hard work is paying off, and soon I will see the results. And then this point here, right on your chin. Even though I feel like a failure, I know my hard work is paying off, and soon I will see the results. This next one is about 2 inches below, right here where your collarbone meets, just right here. Even though I feel like a failure, I know my hard work is paying off, and soon I will see the results. And the last one is under the arm. So about 4 inches here, right on the ribs, under your arm. I don't know if you know, my shirt is kind of sticking out right about there. Even though I feel like a failure, I know my hard work is paying off, and soon I will see the results. So now that I've gone through all of that, I check in again, scale of 1 to 10. How do I feel now? Am I feeling better? If it's a little bit better, well, that's great. Go ahead and go through it again, and you go through these steps as many times as you need to, or as many times as you want to, until either your rating is at a 0 and you're feeling great, or you've just plateaued and it's not getting any better, or you're just sick of doing it. You can stop then too. It's up to you. But anyway, it's great to use any time to help relieve stress, anxiety, raise those vibes, get you into a place of feeling better, and you don't have to change your thoughts. You don't have to worry about them changing or sticking. You just have to have a statement and an affirmation, and you don't have to believe it. It would be great if you believed it, obviously, but you don't have to. It still works. You can still use it, and that's the great part. And that's where I'm going to end the video today. That is quite a bit of information, and if you ask me, some very rewarding and pleasant ways to change your brain and physical body and physical world, rather than trying to change thoughts that tend to just automatically occur despite what we want or how we want to feel. So once again, stop trying to change your thoughts and try these techniques instead to use, manipulate, and adapt the physical world around you and in your body to change brain patterns, how you perceive the energy around you, and to relieve stress and raise your vibes. Your thoughts will eventually follow suit. If things are good and you are feeling good physically, those negative thoughts lose their power. They lose their purpose. You have no reason to have them anymore. I've also found that feeling like I have control over those negative thoughts and feelings, I feel more empowered, stronger, and confident, which gives me motivation and determination to change the situation or do things differently or step out of my comfort zone to create a better situation for myself. So stop trying to fix your thoughts. There's so much more you can do that will help automatically start changing those thoughts for you. And they all give you a sense of empowerment and control in life, taking away the power those negative thoughts may have over you. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you try out these techniques, or you have used any of them already and have experience with them, be sure to leave me a comment and let me know how it goes, because I would love to hear about it. Sending love and blessings to you all. I will see you in the next video where we will talk about using spirituality, such as angels, intuition, and tapping into things like your spiritual gifts to raise your vibes and help you along your path. I look forward to seeing you then. Bye-bye.